So our whole mission is to bring everybody in. That's why we're doing this here at a mainstream event. You know, don't call it a private and public key, call it a username and password, open the floodgates and explain it in simple terms. That's what we're trying to do here. So why don't we go through and let everybody do a quick introduction of who they are and what company they're with. And then after that, we'll do some Q&A and we'll do some, dive deep into blockchain. We're all about the benefits of blockchain technology here. I'll give you a quick snapshot of who's on the panel here. Myself, Matt Rogers, my business partner down there on the end with BNFT and Blockchain Beach. Amy Wan beside him. And then we got Peter, Felix, Justin, and PJ.
Hey guys, how are you doing? So my name is Felix Hartmann and I'm a managing partner at we specialize in investing and trading digital assets, both the day trading, investing into ICOs, pre-sales, and things like staking with nodes. Because what we've been experiencing a lot with the cryptocurrency sector is that a lot of things go above a lot of people's heads, and there's also a lot of bad investments out there. A lot of people are getting pulled into scams and what we in the industry like to call shitcoins. So we really professionally take care of investments and to make sure to have market leading returns.
Felix, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Welcome out. So tell us a little bit about your and how, in simple terms, can people out here in the world get involved? What's your advice for them? Easy ways to buy, things to do, so it's not complicated.
Gotcha. I'll give an answer to my experience. Don't slap on my hands. So I think for the average person, I would always recommend just find a way to get involved where a lot of people think you have to go all in to try it out. So many times people thought, ooh, I think Bitcoin is too expensive right now at 20,000. Then the very same people at 8,000, 5,000 tell me, oh, it's not going anywhere. I'm like, well, a month ago you wanted to get in at 20,000. Now it's too cheap for you. It's always too high, too high or too low. It's never the right time. So what I would say is, just even if it's an insignificant amount of money where you really can't make anything of it, but at least take that step, maybe make a Coinbase account, maybe try it out. Because what I've observed so far is that most people, start with the big ones, and once they're comfortable with them, they go on the next exchange, that they try out the next altcoin, so really familiarize themselves. Because a lot of what Justin said just now, might seem like a little bit over the head, where you think, what does infrastructure tokens even mean? The way I could explain it is right now what's happening is we're not really building the apps yet. Right now we're still building, let's say, Windows versus iOS. Right, we're building the platforms whereupon we will build the programs. So, because a good example, if you would build an app, for example, let's say on EOS, on Neo, on Ethereum or whatnot, it turns out, it's kind of like Blu-ray versus HD DVD back in the day, where one of them will die out and Blu-ray will become the standard. So right now we're still in the phase where we're trying to figure out what will be the standard upon which, most apps, most sidechains and so on will be programmed. So it's really important, if you want to become an investor in this space, if you want to invest yourself, really understand, how this technology works, and you can really do that, if you give yourself a week, a couple of days, really just do a deep dive. I promise, if you actually take the time to understand, you'll be kind of head over heels into this, because it will be amazed at what's possible in this industry. But of course, if you already have it, this answer your question. If you already have a business and you're I don't really have time to focus on decipher what's going on in this blockchain space, that's where you come in, where you just have somebody that will manage it for you, that is an expert, that will read a dozen white papers a day, because there are so many projects launching every single day, and it's really important to have a specific set of qualitative and quantitative metrics to go by to choose which are the right ones and which one will most likely go back down to zero. Because the reality is, a lot of projects, I would say 90% of the coins out there right now will probably go to zero in the next 5 years. But the ones that stay around, they will easily 100x or more in the next years.
Are there any big red flags for anyone who's new to the space and investing, that you want to really warn for? Because I guess from my own perspective, I've seen coins that I was really infatuated by, but then shared them with somebody I trust, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that. Look at what they're leading with. Meaning, if they're running ads on you and they don't even tell you what they do, maybe they just throw a bunch of keywords in there, blockchain, artificial intelligence, like all like that kind of stuff, and then to say you get 100% discount or like 100% bonus, you know. A lot of people do that. They try to lead you in with like, we give you a big discount, we give you bonuses, all the kind of stuff, before telling you what they're actually doing. You know, that's a big no. And then, you know, as he said, look at the team. Have they actually done something before? Do they have a prototype? That's the, if you want to save yourself from falling for a scam, check if they have an actual product, an actual prototype. Do they have a mainnet? Do they have a testnet? And if so, try it out. Does it work? That's the easiest way. You know, the way to win in startup investing, that's the same thing with coins. For example, Airbnb, if you try Airbnb out, hey, this is an awesome platform. All right, invest in it. But don't just invest in something because they use a bunch of buzzwords. I think that's the best way to keep yourself safe and really question, do they have financial feasibility? Meaning, does it make sense? Meaning, if they pay me a % a day, that's not the issue. The issue is, where does the 1% a day come from? Is there somebody actually paying that? Like if somebody wants to margin trade and actually pay a % a day, be my guest. Yes, give me your % a day. But if there's nobody paying it, then clearly it's a scam. One last quick note. Twitter is not news. So I mean, I've explored the dark hole of pump groups a lot, and so what people do, they literally spread fake news in order to get their prices to go up. So they will say, hey, did you hear Ripple's going to go into Coinbase? Everybody starts buying Coinbase and everybody starts telling each other, by the way, did you hear Ripple's going to be on Coinbase? So then like all these rumors start, but that's not actually happening. And they all start making announcements of the announcements. We'll make, oh, we have a partnership with, you know, Volkswagen. Volkswagen, what? What's this coin, you know? So make sure that you actually, you know, verify your sources and get it from the primary source. I mean, and you can literally ask them, you can tweet at one of the Ripple team, say, hey, are you guys getting this on Coinbase? And they'll probably tell you, no, right now there's no plans to get on Coinbase. So be very careful who you listen to, and yeah.
Are there any cryptos now that are coming out? Are there any crypto coins that are coming out that are being backed by like gold?
Plenty, many. I mean, I've seen a lot. What I would say to that is obviously what's happening with like asset-backed tokens is that they basically have to be centralized. Because let's say, for example, I buy, let's call it a gold token, and I send it to Justin over here. Now, do I actually have to send him the physical gold so that it stays decentralized? That's super inefficient. If I don't, that means it's still staying in one centralized vault, meaning yes, it's token, but the same thing as buying like gold on a stock exchange. Nothing really changed here. So I would be very cautious, you know, invest, like, it's not really decentralized buying digitalized assets.
Can you talk about the possibility of the Fed coin coming out?
The Fed started this, the CIA. So
yeah, so I mean, yes, I think governments will jump on, you know, having their own digital currencies, but what you have to keep in mind is that truly, yes, they will be tokenized, they will be digital, but we already have digital money. My bank account, that's just numbers, it's not actual cash. And also keep in mind, there's, I think, only $5 trillion in actual physical cash, but that represent about $80 trillion in, you know, money that's in the global money supply. So we're already living in a digital money age, but if the government has a digital coin, it's not going to be decentralized, it's going to be centralized. So it's kind of going to be like, you know, wolf in sheepskins, where they say, yes, we have our own digital currency, you know, it's like Bitcoin, but it's backed by the Fed. So, you know, some people will buy into it and think, oh yeah, this is great, but it's just more of the same. So I don't think there will be like a real shift happening here. And I know this is something, one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of Ripple, for example, because I think Ripple, Ripple is pretty much just that. It's more or less a centralized digital coin that's more or less run and owned by most of the major banks. So I think we already see that happening, and I don't think it's the move in the right direction.
Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. We're already a little bit over here, so thanks so much for coming out, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Try to write this song 370 times. I could never say this, but I think I think.